So I'm going to pose the question right here. Comments below. Do you think this is the last time that we see Chase Sexton racing on a Kawasaki? Now, obviously, that's from press day at Thunder Valley, where he had a huge crash, right? I mean, that's a big 2-3 story drop right onto his feet, right onto his knees. And I haven't heard anything as far as I know as to what the actual injuries are, if we ever will. As far as I remember, it's banged up with the possibility of some knee injury that's going to be checked out. If we ever actually hear what the injury is, who knows? I mean, this is very, very reminiscent of last year, the KTM crash, and pretty much out for the season. No idea why or what's going on. But Chase did say, check the vid, had the clutch pulled in. Am I not allowed to brake tap now or anymore? And this was the rumor, right? That the bike blew up, that in the air it exploded, and that's why he crashed. But after this, he did get up, did ride the bike back to the pits, so it didn't explode. Like, the engine didn't explode, didn't seize, or else he wouldn't have been able to get up and ride that bike back in. So, if you pay attention to the Moto news, Moto media, whatever you want to call it, Johnny Hopper did end up talking to Dan Fahey, the team manager, team, whatever you want to call it, of Kawasaki, and he said, quote, honestly, we have to take accountability for it shutting off when he put the brake on and didn't pull the clutch in. So you're hearing two different stories, right? That's the team manager blaming Chase Sexton for the crash. And then you have Chase Sexton saying, no, I did have the clutch in, I can't brake tap anymore. And the weird thing is, like, you don't hear any panic revs in that crash. You don't, like, there's nothing to it. So either he stalled it, touching the brake, trying to brake tap and bring the nose down a little bit, and stalled it, crashed, and then blamed the bike. But Kawasaki, the team manager, is coming out and saying, no, it didn't grade itself. He rode it back. It wasn't stuck on the side of the track, exploded. And that's big, right? If your team manager from the guy you're supposed to be representing is saying that no, the bike was fine, we might have to take some accountability for maybe some sort of ECU working or whatever. But no, the bike ran, he crashed it, basically. He stalled it, and that's what was the reasoning. And obviously, this is not good, right? Sexton himself was saying that he wasn't feeling comfortable on his bike. It's almost a mirror image last year of Prado saying, he's going around, but not at the speed he could be. He doesn't feel comfortable on the bike. It's just mirror images, right? We know Chase Sexton should be a title contender. He should be out there running for podiums, wins, overalls, right up towards the front. And this has not been good. Every round that he's raced so far this summer has had at least one crash, multiple crashes in some rounds. The ghost ride, which he took responsibility for, saying, he was frustrated, and yes, he kind of did it. And this is just a bad situation, right? He's, 26 years old, somewhere within there, and this should be his prime. You're not at the age of 30 where you're getting older. You're not 22, 21 where you're still kind of coming into yourself. At 26, he's right in the prime of his career. And this is correct me if I'm wrong, a 3-year deal with Kawasaki, kind of the same thing that Prado had with them last year. And it's going to be the question of, is this the last time we see Chase Sexton? If he's not feeling comfortable on the bike, which is causing him to crash, which, granted, he's done on every single brand he's raced for. And now you have the team coming out and basically blaming him for the crash. I wonder if this is honestly the last time we see him race for them. Now, the bigger issue is Prado had the connection with KTM. Coming over here from MXGP, he had the familiarity with that team, or at least with that brand. And they, as far as I can pay attention or know, helped a lot with getting him out of his 3-year deal with Kawasaki. Obviously, that is, a switch of Monster Energy to Red Bull, bike brand. It kind of, I'm assuming, lubricated some hands or whatever, helped his transition from one team to the next. Sexton's going to have a much harder time leaving this team. He's probably burned the bridge with Honda, right? You're not going to go factory anymore because either they don't want you there, or, well, the other option is they're full because they've got the Lawrences for, the next decade. They don't need, I'm assuming, 450 riders, and even if they did, I doubt they'd want him back. KTM, again, you burned that bridge already. I doubt that's going to happen, especially with the rumor of maybe the Coonans coming over. They are a much younger, much more talented, maybe, situation. We can see how well Lucas did in going 2-2 last weekend. I'm assuming, those rides are pretty well taken up if they want them with Prado, and I'm assuming Plessinger's out maybe. But so you've burned 3 of the major OEMs. So what? You've got Yamaha, which I'm assuming is also going to be hard with Justin Cooper, Hayden Deegan, Davies probably coming up next year. Who knows what's going on with Cooper Webb? They're pretty well full to themselves also. So it leaves what? You've got Triumph if they want to really start investing in this program and go for what should be a top level guy. Ducati, which should have the money, and as far as I'm aware, both Ferrandis and Barcia are on 1-year contracts, so that could also be a maybe. Otherwise, you got what? Suzuki, Beta, or you start looking into the more like satellite teams of like Club MX or PRMX or Club or Quadlock Honda. These semi-factory satellite teams. Now, who knows, right? I mean, he could get the okay from his doctor, you're fine, you can go race, and we might not see him. He might take the summer off. He might, again, be like last year with KTM. Crash, have no idea what the injury is or how long it's going to take, and this might be the last time we see him on that bike. Who knows? But it's pretty bad when he's saying one thing, the team is basically blaming him for stalling the bike, and that's why he crashed. It's not a good situation, obviously, right? He's saying he's not comfortable. He doesn't look comfortable. He's not at the at least consistent speed that we've seen him normally. Like, yes, he crashes a lot, but he's normally crashing because he's going fast and is at the top level or top 1% of the field. When he's rolling around in 5th, 6th, 7th and still washing the front, still crashing there, it doesn't look good. Now for Kawasaki, this is horrible, right? If you lose 2 big name riders in 2 years, this is going to be a big story. What's wrong with the brand, what's wrong with the bike, the development, everything. It's not going to be good. But this is where I'm going to leave you guys. Comment down below. Tell me what you think. Do you believe he stays with them for the whole time? Is he going to come back and race this year? Do you think he goes somewhere else? If so, where? Whatever it is, comment down below. Tell me what you think. While you're down there, make sure to like, share, subscribe. Do all the fun things this platform lets you do because it does really help me out, and I appreciate it. With that, I'll see you later. Peace.